Hey everyone, welcome back to another video of Tech and Talk. And if you are new to this channel, I extend you the very warm welcome to you. And I'm very excited to have you here to become the part of learning journey with the Tech and Talk. In this video, we are going to see and learn the top 10 most asked interview question based on the SQL function. And I'm sure you will be the part of learning journey with me till the end of this video. Also, I'm going to give you the exercise question at the end of this video. And just requesting before starting it off, listen carefully, rewatch the video whenever you are not clear. And after watching this video, I can assure you, you will not have a single question. So guys, don't skip this video till the end of this video. Let me start the question one by one. Let's start this with our first fundamental question. What is SQL function and why we need a function? Let's first understand a function. What is function? Ignore the term SQL for now. Imagine you have a family function at your home, and for that occasion you have done some shopping. Let's say you purchase some new piece of clothing. Now the interesting thing here is you can wear this clothing to other function as well, right? So once you bought that clothing, you can use it at any time. Am I making sense, right? So this analogy also applies to SQL. So in SQL, we have both ready-made function and user-defined function. So we can create the user-defined function also in SQL. So these functions serve the purpose of code reusability. So just like how you can reuse the same clothing for different events. So same way SQL function can be utilized at various places in different scenarios. So here why to use a SQL function, right? The first crucial point here is to remember the reusability of the code. Correct guys? Am I making sense? Correct? Let's move on to the second important question. What are the types of functions in SQL? So here, what are the types of functions available in SQL? So we have five major types: scalar function, aggregate function, table valued function, and also along with that we have some built-in function. So built-in means predefined function provided by MS SQL. Also, we're having a user defined function. So when I'm saying user defined, it means it's defined by us. It means it is that function is created by us. Okay. So we'll see one by one function now. Let's move on to the next question. What are the built-in functions? So for built-in function, what I will do guys, I will give you 3-4 examples so that you can understand what is built-in function and how we can use that built-in function in our queries and how it is making our life very easy, right? So here I'm using the HR database, and inside that HR you can see here the function. Okay, so here we are having a multiple type of functions. So table valued function, scalar valued function, aggregate function, and system function. So every function having a different meaning. Now let's say you have to write a query which will take your today's date from the server. Okay, so for that query, what I will use here, so we are having a different function here also. So I have to return a date, right? So I will go to date and time function and I will use the get date function here. Okay, so here for get date, the parameter is none and it is returning me the date and time. Okay. Okay, so how will I write the query here? Select what is the my function name here, get date, and parameter is none. I'm not passing any parameter here. Okay, so it will return me the date time. Okay, and I will create a list, let's say as today's date time. Okay, see guys, here I'm getting the today's date time from the server as a 25 January 2024. Here I'm using the employee table, and inside that employee table you can see here I am having a one more column, birth date and time. So this means what is the birth date and time of this employee. Okay, now let's say you have to split this date with your birthday, birth month and birth year. Then how will you do that? Correct? Then what I will do, I will write a query here, select star from employee. Okay. Now what I will do here, let's say I want only employee name and there, let's say for I want a birthday, right? So for birthday, what I will do, I will use this day function. Okay. So for day function, what is the parameter here? Birth date time, and what it will return integer. Okay, so what I will do here, I will use the function day and I will pass the parameter as birth date time, right? Okay, so this will be my birth day. Okay, now let me align this query. Let's say similar way I have to write the month. Okay, so here what is the function for month? For month we are having this month function. Okay, so here I will use again the same, only I will change the parameter. Okay, sorry, the function name as birth month, and same for year. year for year also you can see here we are having a ready-made function, built-in function, which we can use. For year also it is returning me the integer and I have to provide the date time here. Okay, now what is the parameter? Birth date time, and what it will return? Birth year. Okay, now let me execute this query. See guys, here I am getting the birth day, birth month and birth year. Now, so what I have used here, I have used the built-in function to separate out all these date from one column. Let me give you the one more example here. Let's say I want to use this is date. I have to check the date which I am providing is a valid date or not. Okay. Now let's say I'm copying this date and I will use select is date, and for this is date I'm passing the expression as a varchar. Okay. So I'm passing here the date. So what it will return? It will return me the integer here. Okay, now see here it is giving me the integer as a 1 means it's a valid date. Let's say I'm giving the wrong date, or otherwise I will give some any name, right? Take and talk, let's say. Then let me execute this query. See here, for take and talk it is giving me the 0. It means it's a invalid date, so it's not a date. So this way guys, you can use the built-in function. Built-in means it is defined by the SQL, which we can use and which we can simplify our queries, and we don't have to write a extra code for every small thing. Let's say you have to get the day, right? Then you don't need to write a every time, you don't need to create a separate function to get the day, month, year. So for that purpose SQL provided us some built-in function which we can use. Okay, so now this built-in function is clear, right? Next important question here is, what is aggregate function in SQL? So for aggregate function, here inside the system function you can see aggregate function, and here you can see what are the aggregate function available in SQL. So these are also the built-in aggregate function provided by SQL. Okay, now let's say I have to get the count of the record from this table, right? All the record. Okay, then what I will use, select count of, I will give here the star from, what is my table name here, employee. Okay, see here I am getting the count as 16. Okay, so how many records? Here you can see how many records I am having here in this table. So I am having a 16 record, and here I am also getting the count as 16. Okay, so similar way, let's say if you have to get the maximum salary, here I am having the salary column, right? So what I will use, maximum maximum salary maximum salary from employee. See here I'm getting the maximum salary, right? This is my max salary. Okay, similar you can get minimum salary. This is my minimum salary. See here, if I'm going to this table 56,473. See, this is the first salary, which is minimum salary, right? Okay, and all are in lakhs. So this is my 56,000. This is the minimum salary. Let's say you have to calculate the average salary. Then what you will use here, instead of minimum, you can use average, right? So it will give you the average salary, right? This is my average. Okay, see, this is my average salary. Okay, now let's say you have to calculate the total salary. Then what you will use here, instead of average, you will use the sum sum. See here I'm getting the sum. Okay, this is not a average, this is the total salary. Okay, see, now I am executing all this. So this is my count, this is my max salary, this is my minimum salary because I am using the minimum here. Okay, this is my average salary, this is my total salary. Okay, and see here, if I'm going to this maximum, see here expression is any type and it will return the same type. Okay, same for all this function, and you can write the aggregate function this way. Okay, and now here the one common question come in mind is how it is differ from the built-in function, because these are also the built-in function, right? Count, max, minimum. Then why we are saying this function as a aggregate function? But here remember guys, what we are doing inside this function is a competition. See, when I am saying the maximum, right? Maximum, minimum, average, sum, it means I am doing some calculation inside that function, and that calculation is written by the SQL, right? So whenever these functions are related to the computation, so we are saying that function as an aggregate function. Okay, now you understood what is aggregate function, correct? Let's move on to the next important function. What is user-defined function? And when would you use user-defined function in practical scenarios? Here, what is user defined function? So, as per the name user define, it means these functions are defined by us, right? So it means these are the custom function written by the user. Okay. Now let's say if you are having a situation, or let's say if you have to get a max salaried employee from this employee table, then you will have to write a custom function, right? Then how you will write? Let's say I'm creating the function here, create function. Okay. What I will give the name, get max salaried employee. Okay, this is my function name. What it will return, let's say it will return me the employee name, right? It will return me the employee name. It means employee name is a varchar here, and I will give the size as 50. Okay, as here I will give the begin and end. Okay, and inside here, what you have to get, maximum salaried employee. So we know what is the query to get the maximum salary, right? So this is my query, maximum salary. Okay, but here we have to get the max salaried employee. Okay, so what I will write, select, let's say I will give star here, select star from employee. Okay, but here I have to return a only employee name, right? Because This is my max salaried employee, right? Employee name where salary equal to, and this will be my query, right? What I will do, I will add here. Okay, now, okay, and here this is my again return. This will return my this function. Okay, now let me create this function. See, this function is created now. Get max salaried employee. Let me refresh here the function. Okay, here you can see inside this scalar valued function, right? Now, how can you get this record from this function? Select here what is my function name, dbo dot get max salaried employee. Okay, see here, see here what is the name of this employee, Liam Davis. Okay, now let me verify. See here for the maximum salary. Okay, what is the maximum salary here? 75,000, 7,53,000. Okay, now see guys here for maximum salary here 753, it means for Liam Davis, right? And I'm getting the correct result. See guys, here we have seen how to write the user defined function. Okay, it's very easy, right? So now you understood when we have to use this user defined function. When we have to do some custom operation, that time we can write the user defined function, right? When I have written this user defined function, guys, that time you may notice it comes under the scalar valued function. Okay, now you will think why it comes under scalar valued function. See guys, first of all, we don't have any specific user defined function here, right? So this is just defined by the user. Okay, and now I will explain you why it comes under the scalar valued function into the next question. Let's move on to the next question. What are the scalar functions in SQL? So let me clarify you here why it comes under the scalar valued function. So first of all, scalar valued function, it means it is returning a single value. See here guys, it is returning me the varchar, okay? Only the single value, okay? So that's why it is coming under the scalar valued function, because this function is returning me the max salaried employee name, right? The only one employee which is having a maximum salary, correct? So that is why it is coming me under the scalar valued function. Let's move on to the next question. How to create a table valued function and what are its advantages? For a table valued function, what I will do, I will use this same function. Okay. So now let's say, so this function is returning me the single value, right? Now let's say I want all the employee details, right? For this max salaried employee, then I need to add some column here, right? Otherwise, I can use the star also. So what I will do, I will update the name as, let's say, get max salaried employee details, and instead of varchar, now it will return me the table, right? So here it's a single line, so we don't want a begin and end. Okay, and instead of employee name, I will give here the star. Okay, now let me add here semicolon. Okay, now let me create this function. Okay, it's created. Let me refresh this table valued function now. Okay, see here, now it is coming under the table valued function. Okay, because it is returning me the table, right? Now I have to execute this function. Then how will I write the query for execution? Select star from dbo dot get max salaried employee details. Okay, let me execute this. Okay, see guys, here I'm getting the result for the maximum salaried employee. Okay, and I'm getting all the details of this employee, correct? Now here one thing you can notice here, when I'm executing this function, that time I have appended select star from before this function, right? But when I executed the scalar function, that time I simply use select dbo dot get max salaried employee, right? So here I have not used the select star from. So here, because this is a table valued function, so this is one kind of, you can consider this is one kind of table. So for that we need a select star from before execution of this function. Let's say I'm writing this type select dbo dot, okay, then let me check it is giving me the result or not. See guys, this is not giving me, this query is not giving me the result because this is a table valued function. So whenever you are going to execute the table valued function, then always remember you have to append the select star from before the function name. Here is the next question. Can we pass a multiple parameter to the SQL functions? So for this question, what I will do guys, I will use the alter function. I will modify this existing function and I will pass here the parameter. Okay. So you can, I have to pass the parameter. So I am adding that parameter into this parenthesis. Okay. So let's say I want a record based on this birth date time. So let's say I will pass this year, and based on that year it should filter out the record. Okay, so what I will do here, let's say I will pass birth year as a parameter and it will be integer. Okay, and in this what I will do again, let's say this is select max salary as a max salary from employee, where again this is here I have declared birth year because here we don't want a date time, right? So what I have to use here, year. So I am casting that birth date time to the year, okay, equal to, this is my dynamic parameter birth year, okay. Now you can see what I have done. See guys, here I have passed the birth year as an integer. I am just filtering out this birth year based on this birth year here, right? Year. Okay, so what this function will do now? So here, let's say you can see here, if I am sending 2000 as a parameter, so let me execute this function. Okay, okay, this function is executed. Now let me check the record. Okay, see here we're having two records for 2000. Okay, we don't have any other third record. Let me check again. Okay, we don't have any 2000 record. Okay, only we have two records. Okay, so if I am passing 2000, then I will get this maximum salary rate, 1,02,946. Let me check this. See guys, here I'm getting this max salary. It means this function is working. Okay, so here we have checking the birth year with equal to. So if I am giving 2000, then I will get only 2000 years record. Okay, now let's say you want record between some date. Okay, so what I will do, birth year, otherwise I will change this as birth year start, and also I will add one more parameter here, birth year end. Okay, so this will be like a range. So this is birth date time is greater than birth year. It means birth year start. This will be start. Let me, okay, and and again this will be same, only the symbol will be less than. Okay, so it means, okay, this is not required. Okay, let me execute this function again. So this is within a range. So let's say you want a max salaried employee between 2000 to 2005. Okay, then in that case also you can give here the range. Let me execute this function. See guys, we don't have a maximum salaried employee between this range. Okay, now let me go back to this record. We have 2000, 2000. We do 2002 is also okay. Let me check the symbol here.
Birth date time is greater than this 2000. Okay, and birth date time. Oh, here we want to pass the birth year end. That is why it is not giving me the result. Okay, let me execute this function again. Okay, let me execute this query. See guys, now I am getting the result having a max salaried employee between this range, right? So this way you can add a multiple parameter to any function. Okay, now
Here is the next tricky interview question. How do you handle errors in SQL function? And can we use a try-catch block inside a SQL function?
so for this question, what I will do guys, I will copy this. This is my scalar function because it is returning a single value. Okay, so I will take copy this function and I will paste it here. And now let's say I will modify this function accordingly. Let's say we want a manager ID based on the employee ID. Okay, so what I will give the name here, get manager manager ID based on employee. So when I am saying based on the employee ID, it means I have to pass the employee ID as a parameter, right? Employee ID. This is my integer value. Okay. So now so first of all, guys, in SQL function, remember here we cannot use the try catch block. Okay. So I will also show you that. So before that, what I will do, I will show you how do you handle the errors in SQL function. Okay, so here let's say let me show you this employee table first. Okay, so this is my employee table. Let's say I am doing this operation over this only one employee just for our consideration here. Okay, now here my manager ID is null, correct? Then it should not be null. So if it is that manager ID is coming null, it means it should throw the exception or it should return me some value. Okay, so that I can able to understand this manager ID is null. That is why it is causing me the exception. Okay, so how you will handle here? So here what I will do, I will use if let's say this is my query select star from employee. So I will use inside the if block instead of star I will use select manager ID from employee where let's say I'm going to pass the employee ID here. So I will pass here the employee ID equal to @ employee ID. Okay, and is let's say if it is null, right, then it should give me the return as -1, else this is my statement and this will also I will modify because we are going to return the manager ID, so this will be my integer instead of varchar. So here select manager ID from employee, and here let's say I will keep it simple where employee ID equal to @ employee ID. Okay, so here why it is giving me error here? Select manager ID from employee where employee ID equal to @ employee. Okay, here we have to give the parenthesis so that it can. Okay, this is my condition now. Okay, now let me create this function. Okay, see, this function is created. Now let me try to execute this function. Select dbo dot. Okay. Okay. Here we're passing the employee ID, and for John Doe, we are having an employee ID as a 1. Correct? So I will pass here the 1. Now let me show you here. See guys, here it is returning me the -1. It means this manager ID is null. That is why it is going to the -1. So that I can able to understand here. So -1 is coming. It means something is wrong, right? So this way you can handle the errors in SQL function. Okay, let me try here the some different value correct manager ID. Let's say I will pass the ls smith because here we are having a manager ID, correct? So I will pass here instead of 1 as a 2. Okay, this is now see, I'm getting the correct manager ID. Okay, so whenever you are passing the correct manager ID, that time it will give me the result. But since your manager ID should not be null, so in that case, you can print something like that so that you can understand the error is occurred in our SQL function. Okay, let me try to add a try catch block inside this function. Okay, so generally how you are writing the try catch block here begin. Okay, let's say here I'm creating the try and this will be my end try. Okay, now here let's say I'm starting begin again the catch, and let's say after this line I will do end catch. Okay, so this way we're catching the exception, right? But see here, instead of create I will use this alter now. Okay, okay, sorry, here instead of create I will do alter. Okay, let me try to execute. See guys, here it is showing me invalid use of side effecting operator begin try with a function. It means we cannot use the try catch block inside the SQL function. So guys, remember this question is also the most asked interview question, and this is a very tricky interview question asked in the SQL functions interview. Okay.
So here is the most asked interview question. So this is very common question in every interview. So guys, can we call a store procedure inside a function?
So for this question, what we have to do, we have to use the stored procedure inside the function, correct? So let me create one stored procedure, create procedure. Let's say I'm giving sample name, okay, as begin, begin, end, and what I'm doing here, let's say I'm just writing print welcome to tech and talk. Okay, see, let me create this procedure. Okay, this procedure is created. How you will execute this process? Let me check this procedure is working or not. Execute sample. Okay, see, this is printing me the message welcome to Tech and Talk. Okay, now what I will do, guys, I will try to use this stored procedure inside a function. Okay, so this is my function. Okay, what I will do instead of create I will do alter, and let's say I will add here this procedure. Okay, let me modify this function. See guys, I have altered the function, and here let me try to execute this function now. Okay, see guys, here it is showing me only function and some extended stored procedure can be executed from within a function. It means we cannot call the stored procedure inside the function. Okay. So if you reach till this point guys, before going to the exercise question, I am just requesting you to like, subscribe and share this channel, because this type of creating a video is taking a huge effort, and I hope you can understand.
So here is the exercise question. Can we write a user defined aggregate function? If you are saying yes, then how can we write? If you are saying no, why can't we write? Okay. So here guys, without worrying, I am expecting from everyone whether your answer is right or wrong, but your try is important. So please drop me a comment from. You have reached to the end of this video, and I'm sure you are a super learner, and I'm damn sure you are now the SQL pro. Okay. So guys, if you like this video, so please do subscribe, like and share this channel, and please drop me a comment if you are thinking I will create another video on any topic so that I can work on that part. Okay, so guys, but remember this type of creating a video is taking a very huge effort, so please understand and please support me.